So I bought my first van for living van life, and I gotta say it feels amazing, right? I spent probably 6 months researching vans, and it becomes exhausting trying to figure out all the variables, and it's kind of scary because I dreamt about owning a van to kind of like have some financial freedom or having an escape route if something goes bad in life. And it was kind of stressful, but now that I actually have bought in the van, it's actually extremely relieving. You can see my buddy over there, Tank. Hey buddy, what you doing? He's sleeping. So I found it extremely stressful of buying a van because vans are so expensive right now, and I don't know why. But when you compare it to buying a truck, like a pickup truck, they're actually cheaper for the most part. I think the big obstacle for me was trying to overcome if I should buy a van at a cheaper price that kind of needs more work and more like maintenance, or buying something newer that was turnkey ready to go. And maybe you're suffering for this same decision. It's really hard to figure out because it's just like, am I going to be traveling in on the road and not be able to trust the thing? But the great thing about a lot of these vans, I feel like if you choose the right platform, a lot of these V8s go forever, because these have V8 engines in them and they should be going forever. I think some of you may not be able to like keep up with like looking at the engine. I see a lot of girls posting in the groups, the Facebook groups, and they're like, I don't know how to buy a van. I don't know how to look at an engine. I just want something trustworthy. That's where, if you're uneducated on a lot of the mechanics of this stuff, you're probably just going to have to bite the bullet and buy a little something cheap or newer. You know what I mean? You're probably going to have to take out a loan. What's wild is, when I looked at vans, it was like, a van could be like, I could look at like a 2010 Chevy van and it would have 140,000 miles on it and it was $20,000. Or I could find the same used van private party and it would have 170,000 miles on it and it would be $4,500. So it's just like, there's a huge gap. And I think that for the most part, a lot of dealerships are kind of scamming people, if we're being honest. Don't get me wrong, some of the vans are really nice. Some of like the bigger 3,500, like 3/4 ton vans with the big block LS motors and stuff, those are really nice. But I think buying from a dealership, you have to be really scary. So, but to the point of this video is, you're gonna have to figure out what is the best choice for you. I found that a cheaper van fixing it up is better for me because I think a lot of people miss the point in the van life being super frugal. You know what I mean? Like if I have to go take out a loan for a $20,000 van, that kind of defeats the purpose of being frugal for me. Like even if you're out there and your van breaks down, like I don't like that. Like you're gonna have to learn how to fix this. You're gonna have to use resources. The van life community is huge. Chances are if you get on groups, someone's gonna come help you because like we all kind of fend for each other and we like work with each other. And I just think going the frugal route is a lot smarter. So if you're kind of struggling with that, I would just go the cheap route, but try to make sure the engine and like the maintenance, when you go and buy the van, maybe try to bring a friend that is somewhat knowledgeable on some of this stuff, check the oil, check the transmission fluids and all that stuff. I'm not even the best with vehicles, but I'm learning as I go. God, it's a beautiful morning today. I'm just kind of sitting here in the development. We're just chilling. I'm just sitting in here in my van. That's what's funny, like I just literally chill in the van. I'll come shoot videos, like I'll go in back. My daughter absolutely loves the van. I feel like my daughter loves the van more than I do. There's just so much space. Like I've never realized how much space is in these vans and like why, I wonder why people aren't buying the vans. They're cheap. In comparison to truck, you literally get a truck. It comes with a trailer hitch. I can tow, I can do this. I got tons of space. Some of the negatives of a van though that I've learned is that they don't drive. I mean, it's like a small little bus, depending on what size van you get. But these things drive like a small little bus. I need a deep breathe. I'm just like trying to talk so much. Take a deep breath and just enjoy this. Hit the subscribe button. If you're new to the channel, comment down below what your status is on like looking to live the van life and buying a van. But I want to just say that like I feel relieved now that I've got my van and I can start working on some of the cool stuff like some of like the generators and some of like the heaters. I just bought my first diesel heater, which is really kind of exciting. And we're gonna start installing that stuff. We're gonna get into like, I'm gonna put a roof rack on here. We're gonna get some like a canoe and kayak going up there. We're gonna start going to stay places. You know what I mean? And I've been learning how to work on vehicles again, man. It feels good. I changed the spark plugs, the wires, the spark plug wires, the coil packs, I think you call them. I changed all that. I took off the doghouse, which is essentially the engine cover here. And, you know, like, it's kind of a learning curve. You know, like, I bought the cheaper van, but I probably lost all the time in just, like, someone could have just skipped all this stuff of fixing it all. And if you got a newer van that didn't have all these problems. That being said, though, like, if I'm on the road, something goes wrong with something, you know, like maybe like a spark plug default or something, I can get in here and I can change it. And I've gotten underneath the vehicles, or I've gotten underneath the van, and I'm spraying the undercoating under there just because the van is a little rusty, and I just want it to kind of like, I want it to last a long time. You know, these vans last forever if you keep up on maintenance. I live in Minnesota here, and the rust can be completely insane. So yeah, we're just doing undercoating. We're just working, man. Like this is just kind of dangling up here. It's kind of sad because the DVD and TV player don't work. My daughter was so disappointed in that. But I know it sounds corny, but I'm really happy I bought this van. I feel extremely relieved now. And like, once I get it set up for like off-grid and doing stuff like that, I think it's gonna be really cool. What's also really awesome is I've been looking at land. And I'm going to probably be doing some videos on that on my journey to buying land. This might sound stupid, but I'm trying to buy like 1 or 2 acres. It's probably going to cost between $8,000 to $16,000. So, and some people would say, well, that's not a lot of land, but having even a little bit is better than having none. You know what I mean? And, just kind of starting to live that like off-grid lifestyle. So, if you're in the journey to finding a van and you're wondering like how, if you have questions along the way, this channel can help guide you. I spent so much time researching van. I just bought the van. Living this van life thing is kind of a new thing for me, and I absolutely love it. So if you love it too, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm just a normal person here, just kind of like talking about kind of car camping, off-grid style stuff, living. I do think with the economy, things are going to be getting a little crazy here, and that's kind of what started all of this, you know, like me worrying about the economy. I've worked in tech and marketing for like the last 15 years, and I can see the writing on the wall that like it's not looking good for us. I read yesterday that some documents were leaked from Amazon that they have plans to replace 600,000 humans with AI employee robots by 2027, I think, or no, 2033. But they're gonna like lay off. They're gonna have it like halfway there by 2027, which is 2 years from here. So they're building mass amounts of army robots to replace human employees. So like, if you're not worried right now, I think it's because you're just uneducated on what's going on. So I work in tech, and I just had a hard, deep swallow, and I think a lot of people should be worried because with mass layoffs, yeah, like I don't think our economy is ready for the mass layoffs. I don't think the banks are either, because I think people are going to start losing their homes. Not to go down a wormhole on this, but I do think this is like things people should be talking about. So without further ado, I just bought my van, and I couldn't be happier. It's such an enlightenment, like to own it now. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. We're going to be doing tons of cool builds. I installed these captain chairs, tons of cool stuff. So I'm going to try not to ramble too much, but yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. More to come.